Lulz is back. We don't have any brand new Coldplay scandals to discuss, but who knows? Maybe the Epstein files will be released while we're on air, and then we can discuss that. But we will get into all the usual stuff, gambling topics, DFS. This is Lulz with Pete and Bric. Let's do it.
Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a go. Vegas Dave thinks this is a go.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no, and let the DFS gods pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us. All right. We're just at that point of the summer, Brian. I said it on Swolecast. Like I was thinking the show we did the week previous where it felt like an eternity. Like even the Coldplay stuff from last week just feels like it was a month ago. The internet just is moving so fast right now.
Yeah, it's like the post-COVID world or something. Like it's everything. Like remember when Elon? You just said the Epstein files. Elon accused Trump of being in the Epstein files. That was like 4 weeks ago. It feels like 3 years ago.
I like my media diet right now. I actually haven't consumed a ton of content about that other than the fact that it seems to be tearing apart like the Republican Party and the MAGA stuff right now. Has your media diet been consuming anything Epstein related here?
Well, I guess, yeah, as much. It's on Twitter everywhere, so
yeah,
you can't really not see it. So, yeah.
Because what? I mean, Trump is now, the implication is that Trump is in the files, and now he's trying to pretend like, who cares about the Epstein files? Why do you guys keep talking about it? It's no big deal.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I think the disconnect, there's a lot, there's so much going on there, like because they ran the campaign, so like the FBI director Kash Patel, the assistant FBI director Dan Bongino, like they ran the campaign on they were gonna figure out what's going on with this guy, and then they get in there like, oh no, big nothing burger, nothing to see here, and Trump commented on it a decent amount, not a ton actually, but a decent amount. Vance too was on Theo Vaughn's podcast and he's like, yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
I did see the Vance clip where he's like, yeah, we gotta release it. Yeah.
Turns out nothing at all. And do you know, are you familiar with the term limited hangout? Like it's FBI CIA type of strategy where they'll release some information that's like not as pertinent to what people are really asking, to focus all the discussion around that piece. It's like a specific strategy, like it's documented that they do. And so like they're trying that too, where they'll be like, we are not releasing the these underage girls videos. And it's like, yeah, no one wants to see that, you fucking weirdos. Like, that has nothing to do with. So, like, they're trying to get even the Trump thing is kind of a little bit of a limited hangout too, because like the whole premise, I think, of what people are upset over, besides the actual crimes, is that the theory is that he was blackmailing powerful people, rich people, company heads, politicians, members of monarchies, sexually blackmailing them with underage women on behalf of intelligence agencies. That's the accusation that everyone assumes. Yeah. And then even the fact whether he committed suicide or was killed or whatever is a limited hangout. Like no one really cares that much. I mean, yeah, sure. Is the government is powerful people throughout the world being blackmailed by intelligence agencies, and which ones are they? That's the question. But they'll misdirect and put out a little piece. It's gonna. My guess is it'll be like the JFK stuff. All over. Yeah. There'll be an Epstein movie 10 years from now, starring Kevin Costner's kid or something.
It's kind of like it's just the classic cycle too of like politics, right? Where it's like when you're anti-establishment and they're hiding all these secrets, and it's like you're, doing all the conspiracy mongering, and then you get into power and all of a sudden you benefit from not having these secrets and, everything being uber transparent. And then it's like, oh no, we actually, we don't care about that stuff now that we actually have the power. That was actually just a vehicle or a technique to rally our base to help get us into power.
Yeah, I mean there's two. Either that's kind of the Machiavellian. You're turning into like this Machiavellian Pete. You need to just run for office tomorrow. Like your takes are getting.
I
more
hear
and
we
more
need fresh voices, people that just really trust their instincts, say it how it is, not read off of the typical Democratic talking points.
That's the Machiavellian view that I've only heard a few Twitter people.
Well, I think I'm parroting back some stuff I've heard you say on this show.
Yeah, well, that's smart, because why would you? Well, like, say you go in there and then the intelligence agency's like, yeah, it was sucks, but we have all this blackmail on Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and blah 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 blah, and we could use it. And he goes, oh shit, that's actually very helpful. All right, yeah, never mind. Let's use this to our advantage. So that's another one. But then the other one is that he's in it, and it looks bad for him. I think the miscalculation is how the just the political strategy of how they handled it was really stupid and bad.
Yeah.
They had remember when they had all those influencers come out with the phase 1 Epstein binders, and they would hold them up, for the stuff. And then a month later, like, oh, it turns out it's a big nothing burger. Like they didn't even like given, like, you could have lied and given a bunch of excuses and played it off, and then started these task force and stuff and investigated, like, we're getting to the bottom of it. You could have wasted half his presidency if you were just going to say it's a big hoax. They could have just played it 100 million different ways, and it seems like they played it the worst possible way and left a big opening to make it a wedge issue that the other side can utilize in elections going forward. It was really stupid politically.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like it's going away. What was it the other day? There was the senator who voted to block the release of it in the Senate, Judiciary Committee like this. It's like, how long can they hold the line before this ultimately gets leaked?
Yeah. And in the House, Mike Johnson didn't call the bills, and they've really just played it so bad. I don't know. Here's a conspiracy theory I was thinking. Like we were talking about the who the hell knows what's going on, but like the Machiavellian view, the view that Trump's in there. What about this one? He gets in there, and then the whoever agencies that are or were controlling Epstein are like, listen, don't call us out, because if you do call us out, they're gonna defund the FBI or defund the CIA, and how about we'll give you Obama? And so he traded the Epstein files so he can get a little arrest picture of Barack Obama and get a little revenge.
Well, is it the other conspiracy theory that the reason Biden didn't release them is because Bill Clinton is in the files? I thought I heard that somewhere as well.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense, because if they did have a bunch of shit on Trump, why wouldn't they have released it in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2020?
Yeah. Oh man. It's always something. This would have been incredible. I don't think there was a Democrat who would have been equipped enough to like weaponize this during a campaign, but it would have been incredible if this Epstein stuff was happening. Like, if you flip it, say it was like the Democratic, candidate that was like trying to keep this under wraps. I mean, Trump would have absolutely hit this out of the park as a home run.
That's basically already what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that already happened. Yeah. The right hit it out of the park, basically, because Biden was in control. I mean, that's like even the bigger story was Biden. Now that like they admit, the media is admitting like, oh, maybe he was a little senile. It's like, yeah, everyone pretty much knew that, but you guys were not really doing any journalism at all. It's like, okay, well then that's the limited hangout in there. It's like, oh, we didn't know and the bureaucracy didn't tell us. They weren't truthful. This was about his health. It's like, yeah, oh, well, what's the real problem there? Well, if he was incapable, who was actually running the government? Who was actually making those decisions? Like, it's like the most logically next obvious question to ask that they don't seem concerned with. And so like, you think like well, why didn't Biden release it or anything? Well, maybe Biden wasn't in charge.
Yeah, that certainly seems to have been the case.
Or maybe he wasn't mentally capable of, because that's what made me think of it. You're like, who, because I was looking at the Polymarket odds for the Democratic nominee.
Isn't it all over the place?
It's all over the place. And I'm like, none of these, I would be no on all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money you were going to make. Like, I was thinking about that with Polymarket too, is like, because they have so many crazy markets. Like, will aliens return? Will Jesus return? Will Obama get arrested and stuff like that? And I like the thing that I think is so beautiful.
How much is on the yes on will Jesus return?
It was 3%.
People talk about tying up your money in a best ball draft. How about tying up your money in that prediction market?
I think it is within 2025. I think they do have a deadline.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. It still seems like that's kind of like, will the sun come up tomorrow type of bet, where it's like, if it doesn't, like, we're all probably dead anyways. Why? Like, what's your money going to be worth if the sun doesn't come up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you believe Jesus is going to return, isn't that the apocalypse or whatever? Yeah, but the upside bets on those is like, well, one of the things I like about it, the Polymarket and Kalshi, is you could sell your shares. So like I was telling Yuta, we were talking because he recommended betting Cuomo in the New York primaries for mayor, Democratic primaries, and I didn't like that bet. I thought he didn't have much chance, and I was right, he was wrong. But I was like, what might make some sense is betting some money on Eric Adams, because he's running as an independent, and but not because he's going to win, just because if you can get him at I don't know what it was, but like, let's say you can get him at like 18 cents. And then Trump comes out one day and goes, there's this communist who just got elected, the primary runner for the Democratic Party, vote Adams. Yeah. Like, that's like 10 cents you're going to get like the next day. And then you sell Adams at like 29 cents or 30 cents. But you can't really take the under on is Jesus returning when it's at 2 cents, because like, what are you going to get it at 1 cent and then sell it? Like, I mean, I guess like you could double your money in theory. I don't know, but yeah, like it's those markets are just too hard to make that kind of play on.
You speaking of prediction markets, you had sent a tweet in our chat earlier this week here. Let me pull this one up about Polymarket. Polymarket has acquired a little-known exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, in a deal that the prediction market says will pave the way for U.S. users to access Polymarket in the near future. And we've been talking about this a little bit on the show and about these Kalshi, Polymarket. What's the because Kalshi, is it operating under the same stuff as Polymarket now, or is it have a better or a different legal standing in the US right now?
So I don't know if they actually got a license, but I'm almost positive it was a CFTC ruling that they sued to get approval for. Maybe they got a license also during that process, but in this, I think it was this article I was reading, it's hard to get one of these licenses, and it took this company 2 years, and they bought it for like what, 145 million or something.
Yeah, 112,
117, 112.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just bought it. Yeah, this is how they did it in Illinois, the sports books in Illinois, right? DraftKings just bought because to get a license, you have to have an Illinois sports book. So they just became partners with an Illinois casino. I'm sorry, you have to have an Illinois land-based casino to get the sports book online license. And the casinos, the Bet Rivers guy thought he was protected, right? And then DraftKings and FanDuel just bought the casino.
Yeah.
To just get the license. And it looks like Polymarket's doing the same thing. I mean, it looks like they're going to be, clearly they know what they're doing, but Poker Stars tried this, remember, back in the day, and it did not work for them. But the CFTC seems like it's run by like a crypto bro now or something. Like every decision they make is better and better for like the stuff we like. So yeah, I think it's gonna work out.
I mean, you think about the money that these guys are throwing around. Another little nugget in here: a report from Sportico last week found that Polymarket spent more than $1 million on Facebook and Instagram ads targeting U.S. customers. And then this does answer my question: the arrival of Polymarket into the regulated prediction market space would likely lead to a major battle for market share with Kalshi, which is already approved by the CFTC. But while other registered prediction markets exist, only Kalshi has gained a significant foothold. The importance of liquidity, having a counterparty that will always be willing to buy or sell a contract at market price, and exchange betting can naturally lend itself to a winner takes all structure, which is pretty interesting. Which makes sense, because if you know that you go post somewhere and you're going to get filled immediately versus post somewhere and it sits up there for 2 weeks, like you're going to pretty quickly make the decision on where you take your business.
Yeah, definitely for people posting those liquid bet markets. I saw someone posted I think it doesn't really matter what it was, but I think it was like JD Vance, will he win the Republican nominee or president, something like that. And he was making $100 a day or a week just off the vig he got for being the market maker.
Wow.
That's pretty sweet.
Okay. So I hadn't even thought of that angle to it, where it's like, not only can you take one side or the other, but you can serve as the house within those prediction markets and make money just as the
I think it's more like an affiliate payment than you, like, because you created it, and then as someone bets one side, the other, someone else bets the other side, like, can be anyone.
So is there an element, because I assume there's lots of like ones that get posted that are very similar to other ones. So is it like a matter of like SEO? How well do you word yours? It's a matter of marketing, like how much you can share, like, hey, go bet on this. Is that an element at play for when one of these are created, or like who gets to it first,
I was thinking the same thing, like, oh, this is going to be gamified big time. Like, who just how to make the best markets. I bet some of that stuff's lucky, like you can't be, everyone and their mother knew that like Vance would be a popular market pick for VP or for president in 2028. So who knows why his got picked up first. But I mean, and also too, Pete, like, you can see a lot of people wasting a lot of time though. Like, making all because like that market's going to be millions and millions.
Exactly.
And $100 a week is nice, but like, how often are you going to get the top 10 markets on the site? Like,
right.
Often.
Yeah, you'd actually hope for more. Because you're trying to look at the upside. Like, I know a lot of those crypto influencers, right, when they got deals with certain exchanges, like their affiliate deal included a percentage of like net spend or transaction volume from anyone that they referred. And that's how like a lot of those like crypto influencers got uber rich. Like they went from rich to uber rich because they were getting whales onto the site and then getting a cut of all of their transaction volume because the site was happy to do that. I feel like you would maybe want these sites to incentivize people for, making markets, promoting them, getting people in there. Yeah, $100 a week doesn't feel like the juice is necessarily worth the squeeze there.
No, but at least there's something. At least they're thinking along those lines.
Yeah.
Of making these markets more liquid, making them more popular. I mean, it is pretty sweet. I mean, I was thinking we could do one, like, when the time's right, just like make your own, the Deposit Kingdom bet of the week or something.
Or what if we started doing like, because people love talking about all of these best ball things, and like, everyone wants to say like, the best ball mania winner has already been drafted, like getting a prediction market up there of like, will the winner have been drafted before or after July 15th? That like, you could see people wanting to like get action down on stuff like that.
Will Davis Maddock have a real job by the end of 2026 or something? Who will place higher in the BBM? Peter Overzet, Soccer Dave. You could put whoever you want up there, and you could also, if you think it's very random and some of the market gets a little out of whack, you can make money on that too.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, that's what, because everybody talks, a lot of smack. Everybody has this thing. It's like, all right, let's start putting some money where our mouth is.
Yeah.
On
I
some
think
of
you
this
can
stuff.
just make whatever market you want too.
What is
I
the
think that
mechanics of it? Because I haven't been on a Kalshi or a Polymarket. Do you attach like a crypto wallet to it, or do you just deposit via crypto and then you move?
They're both
freely?
illegal in Illinois. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you, but yeah, I think it is. You fund your account. I think it's like one of the old school crypto sports books. You just fund your account with crypto.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And then you, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, I assume, Polymarket getting into the US, considering they kind of already have they have like the bigger first mover advantage, like globally, but then they're behind Kalshi in the States. But I bet they could chew up ground pretty quickly.
Yeah. Polymarket, I think they'll be just fine as long as they get in there pretty soon.
Kalshi is USD. Okay. So like, can you deposit on Kalshi with a credit card, or is it still a crypto on ramp? Are we talking like
I don't know
or whatever?
It's
USDC?
for some reason in one of the few states it's not legal, and Illinois is one of them, which kind of sucks too, because I think that would mean, I wonder, because Kalshi's just approved. Like I said, I don't know if they have a license for sure, but I wonder if Polymarket's license means they'll be able to do Illinois. I'm hoping they will, but
yeah.
I mean, if they're gonna try to blow up, they're gonna have to get in all the states, especially Illinois. So
yeah, actually, this post, when I just searched Polymarket, is kind of talking about what we are estimating Polymarket's potential revenue if it were to implement the same fee structure as Kalshi. Blockchain source data from the underlying blockchain Polymarket runs on is 0x. Their model Kalshi's 2-tiered fee structure, convert trading volumes. If Polymarket would use Kalshi's fee structure, it would have already accumulated $300 million in revenues. However, it would have a harder time reaching its current scale, as fees would impose friction to its network effect. In a network effect defined economy, scale precedes profit. So it has a not quite as steep of a fee structure as Kalshi, it sounds like.
Okay. That's good, I think.
Yeah, which makes sense if they're just trying to get market share right now, that they just get people in there.
This comment John just made is I don't know how I feel, but I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. I don't know if they should get too big into the sports betting.
Yeah, so
maybe it's too late, but like I don't think you want that level of attention.
Yeah, the comment here says Kalshi is currently putting sports betting markets up on Robinhood all the time. Started with March Madness, has Golf Weekly. It's crazy. I just saw this tweet here. There's a Polymarket Hoops here.
Yeah, they have them.
You think? I think we've talked about it before, because it would draw too much attention from regulators, and they should kind of enjoy the lane they've carved out.
I mean, as DraftKings is learning, the local casinos have a lot of power locally, state by state. You don't want to fuck with them, and they don't know what this stuff is, right? Like, come on, like they'll be in the dark until they're not, and then they'll be like, "What? This is cutting into our profits? All right, let's saddle up again. Now we got to deal with these people."
Yep. Well, that will be interesting. So it sounds like you mentioned Yuto is looking at something to bet on. Has he been hawking these markets a good bit, looking for opportunities?
No, just every once in a while. I think he had one other one. He just sports bets on like Bookmaker a lot.
Yeah. There are a couple other tweets we had here. You had sent me this one as well. Some data from the UK Gambling Commission. They looked at 15 million active betting accounts to find out what percentage were restricted, and the results may surprise you. Just over 4% of active accounts had some sort of restriction. That includes outright closures, stake factors, and turning off certain sports bet types like horse racing. Also surprising, just 47% of restricted accounts were in profit, a sign operators are too quick on the restrict button. The UK Gaming Commission says it will keep working to understand if restrictions are pushing players to the black market. Industry will share our concern about this and want to avoid this outcome. What were some of your thoughts on this?
What do you think of that 4% number? Do you think that's high or low or right where you would guess?
Man, I'm trying to think it through. Like,
Yeah.
My initial thing was like, oh, that seems like a little low, just as much as how much we hear about people getting limited. But then on the flip side, we're in an echo chamber. Our groups self-select as sharp sports bettors who would be more inclined to get limited, to the point I'm like, that actually seems about right.
That was almost my identical thought process. I'm like, that 4% bullshit. And I'm like, wait a second. That's actually kind of a lot. 4%. 4 out of 100. 4 out of 100, they limit.
Yeah.
That's
and that follow-up stat, that 47% of the restricted accounts were in profit. They're limiting half these accounts who have been losing money to them.
So I bet that's true. And I bet they do limit guys who are losing because they just exhibit sharp habits. I wonder what percentage of these accounts they think are part of a gambling syndicate for other reasons, and then just preemptively ban or limit them because they assume they're part of a syndicate for some reason. So like, these syndicates will buy or actively find guys who have whale accounts so they could bet more and bet longer. And if you're a whale account, you probably have a negative hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And then you win 200,000 on the syndicate, you're still 100,000 negative, but then they figured it out by that point.
Yeah.
So like, I wonder how many of those accounts were affiliate. They thought part of affiliate of a betting syndicate. I'm sure some, 10-20% of them were just still losing, that just exhibited winning patterns, and they pulled the trigger too early. I'm sure that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, I'm sure their methods of flagging are pretty sophisticated, and they would, right. They're incentivized to actually, that's an interesting thing. Are they incentivized to be quick on the trigger finger, where they'd rather get ahead of it before a whale or a shark, like slams them for a big hit? Or would they be better incentivized to let it play out a little more in case they are a true fish who's like punting it off?
You would think they would let them. I mean, I bet real bookmakers would definitely choose to let them bet, like the Circa guys and stuff like that. I bet they would choose to let them bet. But I don't think that's the goal for many of these companies. As I said before, I think the goal is to become one of 1 or 2 or 3 companies and make it like scratch off tickets in the lottery and slot machines.
Yep.
Just guaranteed profit with no competition, no sweat. Your stock goes up. What more can they ask for?
Yep. It says there are several method operators used to restrict an account. The data shows that in most cases, a maximum stake factor reduction is imposed, restricting the maximum stake to a percentage amount of what is available to an unrestricted customer. Of the active accounts, 2.68%. Oh, that was weird how they word that. 2.68% were subject to a stake factor restriction. So that of that 4% number, the 2.68 sounds like the sharp bettors who are actually, limited there.
Okay. But it looks like this was a real study on, unlike the Wyoming.
That's what I was just going to get to. Like, this actually seems like it was done by an independent commission without like ulterior motives or whatever.
I think it's, this kind of rule I told you years ago, where it's like, try to get the studies that are as least in a politically charged time whenever you can, like COVID mask studies in 2021. It's like, I'm pretty sure we have had mask studies done before 2020. Let's take a look at those, and not the new one when everyone's freaking the fuck out. And in England, like this sports betting's been around forever. It's not as heavily political as it is right now in America. And so like they can maybe have a more unbiased take than Wyoming's. Oh, it turns out no one's getting limited. It turns out you guys are all cheaters, was their conclusion at the limiting.
Yeah.
How much do you think U.S. public state lotteries bring it in a year in revenue?
Well, it would depend on the state, right?
All state lotteries.
Oh, all combined?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be $1 billion industry. I don't know. 5 billion?
ChatGPT.
I was just taking a a wild guess.
What'd you say?
5 billion.
Yeah. So they bring in 350 to 400 billion. They total gross.
Yeah.
Profit over 100 billion.
100 billion. Wow. So I was way undershot that.
So, but
yeah.
The reason I bring it up is like DraftKings. My idea of like DraftKings going more down this road of trying to be a monopoly of a smaller piece of the pie. Well, that's what this state lotteries are, right? They're the only provider for this form of gambling. They don't, I guarantee you, I know the people who ran it here, they are not being the most efficient run company in the world, right? And although they do license it out to private companies to make the tickets and stuff like that, they still make 100 to 150 billion net revenue.
Man, that it is with all the other like forms of gambling out there, the entertainment equity of lottery tickets. I just have a hard time wrapping. I get the turning a little into the lot. Trust me, I certainly get that. But I'm just like, how much fun is that sweat? You know, it just doesn't seem like a fun or enjoyable sweat in the ways so many other like sports betting, poker, fantasy.
I don't know. I mean, for me, whenever it was something like that, was always a matter of convenience. Like you're at a golf tournament and they have a raffle. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do the raffle. I'm here. I'm sitting here. I'll buy a ticket because he's just about to raffle this up. So like if I was at gas stations like way more frequently than I am, and it was like a one button thing, and which it very kind of is. I don't know if you saw this. They have lottery on DraftKings now in Illinois. It's on the toolbar. I don't know if it is in Massachusetts, but it's on there now. So maybe that might even go up a little higher.
Man,
what do you think about scratch off tickets?
Well, see, there at least you get a little bit of the entertainment equity, right? Where you can sit there and you can scratch it off and you can kind of slow roll yourself and like make it an actual activity. My introduction to scratch off tickets was my mom's extended family. When we would do our white elephant, like Christmas gift exchange game every Christmas, everyone would put a scratch off ticket on top of their gift. So you'd get the gift or whatever. And then at the end, everyone would scratch off their tickets. And then one year, one of my aunts like banked big. It was like a 5K thing. And everybody got mad. There was arguments about like how it should be divvied up or whatever. Like there was it's like, oh, well, I'm the one who bought that. It's like, then they're like, I guess we're not doing this in any future years. It sounds like an episode of The Bear or something, like the family torn apart by scratch off tickets. But I have a little soft spot for that every now and again.
Was it just me and my friends, or were you like this too growing up, where it's like, if I could just win that 5K a life scratch off lottery ticket, I would never need another penny, right? Just that mindset of when you find out about interest at a bank, like if I just put $1 million in there, I get $50,000 a year, whatever, depending on the interest rate. I can just live off that and never have a job. Like that was the dream.
I don't even know if I like when I would fantasize about stuff like that. I don't even know if I ever considered the angle of interest. I think I was too dumb. I was like thinking there's the movie Blank Check where like the guy runs into this kid's bike and breaks it. And he's like in a hurry and he accidentally gives him a blank check instead of writing the amount in. And the kid writes $1 million on it and goes to the bank. Like, I think that's how my brain worked. I was like, can you imagine if you had $1 million? I wasn't thinking the financial planning angle that young Bric over here had.
Well, you thought big. You wanted that million. You did. But I think that it wasn't just me though. I know a lot of my buddies. It's the it's like just that guarantee. Just you don't need much to survive,
right?
And if you don't have to work, and you can get $5,000 a month, you know that was the popular scratch off ticket. I wonder if they've doubled now. And I just clarified with ChatGPT. So of the 150 billion,
yeah,
scratch off tickets were included in there, and they make up 60 to 65% of that 150 billion. So it's more popular, or at least a bigger moneymaker than the actual Powerball and Mega Millions and stuff.
Are there any, we talk so much about problem gambling, addiction. What are the studies? What are the rates on problem gambling and addiction with state lottos?
I just looked this up 2 days ago.
Okay. Like, I mean, how you spend your free time is fascinating to me, right? What hit me?
Well, this is our, so yeah, the lottery is lower than your traditional other forms, slightly lower. And also, like, it looked like, you know why I did this? Because I went and did bar slots. There's slot machines in bars now in Illinois. Not all areas, but some did. And my brother's in town. We went and wasted some money on the slot machines. And the odds, like I'm not like an EV addict, like Levitan won't like bet unless he's got like 0.001%, positive EV. He's like a degen like that. Like I'll gamble and waste money on some of this stuff just for fun. Yeah. But like they're so bad. First of all, most of the machines didn't have video poker, which is like the best if you're going to pick one. Like if you play the basic strategy, which you can learn in like five minutes on your phone. Most of them didn't have it. And then they cap the amount you could win at $500. So like, even though you're going up in like, let's say instead of betting a quarter, you want to bet $1, like 4x, that's still a $500 max payout. And it's like, this is such fucking like the odds table is basically what I'm getting at. The payout odds table is just a complete like charlatan payout table. And I can't believe they're approved. Like it's gotten really bad because I was going to buy some of these machines when they first came out. Yeah. Like 10, 15 years ago. And they've just gotten gradually more and more nefarious, in my opinion. Anyways, the long story short is that's why I started looking up the gambling rates of slot machines and stuff like that. And slot machines were more addictive, but not as high as I thought they were going to be. DFS, there is studies. I don't know if I trust them, but they're like lower than sports betting. It looked like DFS was lower than sports betting. Sports betting was pretty high. But that made no sense either. But like I said this entire time, the percent is pretty low, lower than people think of the population. There's also cultural differences and gender differences. Yeah. Women are way less likely. Age differences, like the highest is young men 18 to 29. It depends. So like if you break it down by race, the lowest is Latino, which maybe people don't know that, and the highest is Asian, I think, and then Black and then white. So like I've said this before, like if you're but I'll add one more caveat. Like if you're a woman in her 50s or older and Latino, you have like there's no reason any of these rules and regulations should apply to you. But the other thing I dug into too was another talking point I've had is like, if you ask ChatGPT or the AI of your choice, if gambling didn't exist, what percentage of gambling addicts would be addicted to something otherwise? Because there's just so many addictions, especially these days, but I'm sure It's always been some percentage of the population.
Yeah.
And it would always say like 40 or 60%. And so like this time I asked, I'm like, where are you getting this number? Like, and it's basically just from a few studies. There's a National Center for Gambling Addiction, I think is one of them. There's a couple in the States that does research on this. And the logic behind it was, it's not comorbidity. I think there's a different word for it, but it's like that for death, where you have multiple things that could have caused your death. There's a percent of the population that is addicted to gambling that's addicted to other things. Okay. So they have 2 or more addictions. And so they broke it down into 2. There's drug addiction and behavioral. So like behavioral could be like addicted to porn or something. And drug addiction is obviously addicted to an ingestible product. Mm-hmm. And it was 60% of people who are addicted to sports, according to these 2 studies, are addicted to drugs as well. And or 45% have a different behavioral addiction.
Which supports the thing when people will often be, well, if it's not gambling, they're just going to find something else to get addicted to because they have an addictive personality or they're trying to escape something or whatever.
Right. Which also doesn't mean you don't feel bad for these people. It stinks. Like that's not a good thing. Yeah. It's horrible. But this is the fact of the matter. And so there is overlap amongst, so, these super lucky guys who are addicted to gambling, drugs, and have a behavioral addiction of some kind. So the actual number of that have 1 or more is something more like 75%. So if somebody has a gambling addiction, there's, 70+% chance they also already have addiction to something else.
Mm-hmm. Chunk the Deuce says,
so that's the guy I was just mentioning. Somebody, his porn addiction with one hand, and then he's on the sports book on the other hand, using his nose to bet poker.
I feel like you need like stoner logic of being like, if I'm addicted to like 5 different things, I don't even have the time for one of the addictions to be truly destructive. So I think it's actually good to have a lot of addictions.
If you're high, you won't remember your other addiction.
Yeah. I can't gamble away all my money because I also have to spend some of it on my OnlyFans subscriptions. Yeah. Don't forget the joint in hand during all of these.
So like, and also too, with all this recent legislation that none of us like, none of it addresses this gambling addiction stuff anyways at all. And a large percentage of these people would be addicted to something. They're already addicted to something else, would be addicted to something else. It doesn't mean it's not bad and it sucks. I think the argument with the slot machines is more of like the larger percentage of the population that it doesn't materially affect their life, but it's basically just like they're getting ripped off for like entertainment that people disagree with, which I think there's a valid argument there to like, just generally speaking throughout society, is this really something for that percentage of this? Not the 1%. The 1%, the 2% is a problem in every aspect of society, driving on the roads, everything.
Here's one. Has an individual ever been limited in how much they can spend on a state lottery?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Put that in your Chat GPT and smoke it. Well, it goes back to the double standard, right? With the sports betting stuff and getting limited. And
I would guess yes. We'll see.
Because they say the limiting is for, or what kind of like self-exclusion guardrails does a state lottery have?
Okay, yeah. So it's funny, they just implemented this in March 2025 in 4 states. And the limiting is how many tickets a person can buy ahead of multiple draws. Typically around 10.
Wow. Okay.
I'm talking about an individual.
Yeah.
Specific.
if you win the lottery, they're praying you give it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they don't give a shit, right? Because like the revenue goes straight to the state. They get half the money either way.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter to them. There is, and the company that they license to that makes the tickets and all this stuff, they get paid either way. So there is kind of a less of an incentive for that type of behavior in that structure, I suppose.
Yeah. But it just kind of goes back to the hypocrisy of the sports betting sites being like, the reason we limit is for multiple reasons, and it's to protect people from themselves and problem gamblers and also winners.
Zeljko Ranojic was limited in Texas in 2023. Why? Because he bought nearly every Lotto Texas combination, triggering a massive payout. So in response, they passed the law limiting the amount of tickets you can buy. So they limited him because he's too good.
He's too good at it. Jeez.
I mean, God, there is yeah, I mean, like, because he had a gambling addiction, right?
Do you know how, like, you always hear, like, the stories of people whose lives were ruined, like, after winning the Mega Millions, you know, and they're just not equipped to handle having that much money? Do these states, like, I actually want to see, there has to be some good stories, right? Like, I want to hear stories of people who've won the state lottery. They don't have to be like the bad stories. Like, I want to know, like, who are the people who, like, what did they spend their money on? Like, how did they sail off into the sunset? Why isn't there a smash Netflix documentary series that's like 12 episodes and it's on 12 different Mega Millions winners in their life 5 years after the win? I would watch the hell out of something like that.
Yeah, I mean, because really the only ones I am familiar with are the people who go broke.
Exactly, because those are the ones that make the headlines. Yeah.
I think it's like the average is like 3 years or something that they spend all the money.
Yeah.
Here's one. A man put himself on the self-exclusion list, but then played anyways, won $150,000 jackpot, but was denied the prize because he self-funded himself.
That's exactly, I mean, that's their dream scenario. Their dream scenario. That feels like a trick that a really shady state would play, where it's like you sign the fine print, which is like, I'm actually self-excluded from even playing this contest. So then when you win, they're like, actually, you clicked this button and said you shouldn't have been playing it in the first place. They like the negative, they get a negative free roll on those tickets.
Oh, I get it. You're asking if the state lottery has ever forcibly cut off an individual. Answer: almost never.
Yeah. Yeah, like at what point? At what maxing out credit cards, you know, all the other things that would get people flagged, you know, in the sports betting world.
Marketing too. Marketing. Like, they're pretty despicable. Like, people bitch about DraftKings marketing or casino. They do that shit with the state lotteries too. Got to be in it to win it. I don't know. Pretty much any of them are like misleading at the very least. The sports books, they're definitely the worst. I feel like there could be like that's one thing players could do is start a pay for a lawyer, I guess, for false advertising. I mean, it's clearly false advertising if you limit anyone who wins. I don't know how you could win that case, but
did you see Hulk Hogan passed away, Brian?
I did. The Hulkster. Unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, born in 53, I think I saw.
71.
Although it seems like in traditional, you know, 2025 internet fashion, pretty polarizing take. People bringing up, you know, a lot of his racist past. You have JD Vance, though, you know, glazing him on the timeline, saying they were supposed to get beers here one of these days. Just the classic polarizing death that Twitter has a feast with.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't that polarizing until the last Trump campaign. I don't think not as bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I was never a wrestling bro. And I'm kind of surprised how many normal people are into wrestling.
Yeah. The when I the reason I didn't like Hogan for a little while was he was basically who helped destroy Gawker. And the blog, that Deadspin was under that umbrella. I really enjoyed those blogs in the 2000s. And he was who teamed up with Peter Thiel to essentially bankrupt the company. He just had Peter Thiel go into his bottomless piggy bank and just sue the shit out of him.
What's the word? Oh God, what's the word when someone's closet gay and then you report and say they're gay and they don't want that news out?
Yeah, I know what you're. I know
they outed him. I guess outed.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they outed Peter Thiel back in the day, and he's like, "Fuck you, I'm going to destroy you."
Exactly, and he was just waiting for his moment. And then the Hulk Hogan case outing. Yes, the Hulk Hogan case gave them the ammo he needed to actually get it done in court.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like what I mean. If somebody fucked with your wife or your family or something that was personal to you, and then you were rich and you used somebody to ruin them, I mean, fuck them. But I don't really know anything much about Gawker. I just know they were like super gossip.
Yeah, they had a good string of sites under. Like Deadspin was my favorite because that was the sports blog. And then it had its own issues too. Like AJ Delario had he was the editor at the time when they broke the Brett Favre story, which was another one of the super complicated stories. They also did the Manti Te'o story. They broke that. They had some other sites under the umbrella. Lifehacker was kind of like their tech, or Wirecutter, I think maybe started under that umbrella, maybe not. But anyways, they had a good series of blogs over there. But yeah, Hulk Hogan.
I think some of these things, Gawker, and I'm sure you saw Colbert got canceled, and the Late Show entirely. I think it's just this restructuring of the attention market, and the Colbert Show is losing like 40 to 50 million a year or something. Apparently, who knows if that's true? I think Gawker. What was the deadbeat deadline? What was the Gawker publication you liked?
Oh, Deadspin.
Deadspin. I think a lot of these like legacy kind of ideas are just going bankrupt because people just don't care.
Yeah. Well, I always think about it. I'm always stunned that SNL is still able to operate in its legacy state, and that they've never, because there was a clear way that they could adopt. They have talent. Those people are very talented comedians, but they never adopted for the internet age for how to make that show. And the fact that they just keep putting it into the same, square pegs in those round holes, just because Lorne Michaels has done it that way his entire life. It is incredible to me that they've made it this far.
That's true. Even a lot of the viral clips, like this SNL killed it last night. I'm like, okay, let's watch this. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Not that funny. I mean, the problem with the Colbert Show, and I bet SNL has the same thing, is they can't adapt where it's like, okay, guys, people have Netflix. They have all this stuff. You're not going to get the same amount of viewers. Then you're not going to get the same amount of advertising money. Cut your budget. You could run these shows nowadays on $100,000. You don't need $200 million to do a fucking interview show.
You don't. And also look at the arc of Conan. Conan seems so much more happy now, just doing a podcast. He's making a travel show for HBO. Yeah. He's finding vehicles that are perfect for his voice, as opposed to again, having to fit into the structures of a late night show. Even at least people like John Oliver and whatever, they still get to determine the flow and the structure of their show. The late night thing is so formulaic. And a lot of people now all have thoughts about Colbert and people saying he's not funny and stuff. And it's I don't watch his current show. They could be right. It could not be funny. It could not be interesting. But Stephen Colbert is a wildly talented comedian and a very, very funny improviser. Like his, a lot of people obviously know about his original Colbert character, but it's like almost sad to me that this, whatever the structure of the show he took on, like destroyed his reputation as a comedian, because he's really, really good.
If he would have died young after the Colbert Report and never did late night, or maybe did one season or something, he would like have a pretty decent legacy. It was even just that one bit, and then his appearances on the Daily Show. I mean, the Daily Show was gigantic back in the day. I mean, think about it.
That
Carell,
lunch,
Colbert. Who else was on there? Samantha Bee got a show.
Yeah. Wyatt Cenac,
John Oliver.
Yeah. Yep.
Just tons of different names. So Conan's doing pretty good, pretty well. I think people like Conan still. He never got polarizing, really. He got out just in time, I think. I think Colbert is not going to do anything. I don't think he's going to do well. He doesn't need to. He's rich. He's probably not motivated. And if he started a podcast, no one would listen.
Yeah. Yeah, because he positioned himself more as a social and political commentator, whereas Conan's always positioned himself as a comedian. Like that's really been like his travel show. Like it is the most travel show I've ever seen. It is him just doing bits the whole time, to the point I almost got frustrated with one of the episodes. I'm like, you're in Madrid, show me goddamn Madrid, Conan, and he's just doing bits the whole time. And I was like,
I love Conan. He was my favorite one of the group back in the day. The Triumph the Insult comic was great. Robert Smigel spits.
Oh my God, Smigel's
so good.
Has to be like one of the best all-time like comedic writers.
Yeah. Did you see when Conan interviewed that SNL writer guy who wrote with Norm Macdonald, where he did his bit was he didn't know Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile?
Yes. Yeah, he did
He's like, Jeff Epstein, the real estate mogul.
That's now like a very popular meme.
I can't remember his name. He's hilarious. But Kimmel, what about Kimmel and Fallon? So Fallon, if he loses the Late Show or whatever, Tonight Show, he's done. Like I think not that it matters. These guys are so rich, it literally does not matter. But there's no way that guy's gonna make it in today's attention market. YouTube, podcasting. He's not going to do a show. He's not going to go back on SNL. I think Kimmel has one more, like a show of some kind, like go back, do something with him, and Corolla could do something. I bet he's probably so rich too. It doesn't matter. I could see him though. Maybe he could almost do a podcast. I think with his personality, I think he could hold an hour. But I would guess he'd be done too. But I think his show's next. I think his show's next on Chopping Block.
I think it probably has to. It does really, I'm guessing, kind of illustrate what the person is in it for, right? Like Conan clearly just likes to create and likes making people laugh, and he's been pretty content to bounce around after being on like one of the biggest stages. Whereas you wonder for some of these other people, like once you've been at the top and you've been on a big four network, late night prime slot, everything is going to be a step down from that. Like as far as exposure, platform, distribution, does that make you feel like you failed somehow? Whereas, or do you just have the, like, I'm a creative person. I can't live without making shit. And now I got to go find another way to do this.
Which is a credit to why Conan is so likable. I think he goes Harvard, Simpsons, Late Show to Tonight Show to getting, screwed over. I think.
Yep.
And then his show canceled and he's still like, no, I'm going to do a podcast. I don't care. I'm doing a podcast. I know it's a big step down. But I guarantee his podcast costs he probably pays his people a couple of
but nothing
compared to what these shows are costing. But to your point, there's no way. I don't think Colbert or Fallon are gonna go and be like, oh, I'm gonna do some stupid NPR podcast or something.
Do you know what I just had? Like, I'm big genius brain over here. But okay. How are these late night shows? Just how I am after this stream ends, I'm going to download the audio of this video podcast. I'm going to upload it to an audio app for anyone who wants to listen to it on the go over the weekend. Why aren't late night shows doing that? Like, none of us are tuning in to watch your shit. Just download it in audio thing. Have a podcast with it. I might have actually checked out a clip. I'm like, oh, I want to hear Stephen Colbert talk about getting canceled. Maybe I'll fire up that audio download on my go. It's like, at least give people, young people, a chance to consume it on their platforms. It's like, I've seen like one Colbert clip like in the past 4 years. Like, how are you not trying to get in front of people?
10 years ago, they should have been doing this. Like, if they really went after like the YouTube, Spotify, like everything early on 10 years ago, like Colbert he got super polarizing, so he might have been done either way. They might have like lasted some sort of legacy product that works for young people today. They could have done it. Like SNL for sure should have, and they are kind of doing a little bit of this stuff, but those late night shows specifically are perfect for just download the audio and put it on an app.
It's not even that visual. It's not like you don't have to service the audio listeners while you're on
and you'd be fine too if like you, for some reason, like, who is this person who's listening to these podcasts these days? But if you were that type of person, I'm sure, and you're driving an hour and you pop on the Late Show's podcast audio feed, you'd be fine missing the occasional picture only joke, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's like an example of it too. So I on TikTok, New York Times has been posting these extended long form clips from Ezra Klein, who's one of their big pundits, op-ed guy. He has a big podcast for them. He just wrote a book with Derek Thompson. And it's really well produced. And I'll sit there and watch like one of the 5-minute clips of him essentially kind of summarizing one of his pieces or podcast things. And it's like, that was something I probably wasn't going to go out of my way to consume, the original source of the long form material. But because the New York Times is like investing in social and investing in like a highly produced video, and not even a repurposed thing, they're like recording it specifically for TikTok. It's like, well, now I'm familiar with the stuff and I'm consuming your content. Like, you're meeting people where they're at.
I mean, this is, I'm going to take us full circle here, Pete, with who are the people paying for these ads? Like who is, it's funny because like occasionally you'll see like Halliburton ad or a Boeing ad or something like that. It's like, do you think grandma's buying, an F-32 fighter jet or whatever? I don't even know what the names are anymore. Do you think, a B-2 bomber? Do you think grandma is thinking about investing in one of the? Why are you advertising on these platforms? Have you ever? Because I'm always keeping my eyes out. Like you'll see an article and it'll be like Halliburton advertise. It's like, why are you? Or sometimes even these pharmaceutical companies will advertise the pharmaceutical company. It's like you're not even advertising a product, and so like I think this was all just like a big propaganda scam between some of like the 7 giant corporations and some of these legacy media outlets in entertainment shows.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Well, we covered quite a lot of ground. We started with the Epstein files. I
think we solved a lot of the world's problems today here.
We did.
Yeah. Gambling, we solved that. Epstein solved it. Late night entertainment solved.
Colbert or just the downfall of late night TV. We solved that. Just upload a podcast. You guys will be fine.
Yeah, that would have fixed it all. That was the only issue.
Get a Manscaped ad to just drop some ads in between that content. You'll be good to go. What's going on at Run the Sims this week?
My no vibes pick yesterday, Pete, by the way, no vibes PGA pick. Was first going right now. I don't know. I haven't checked. Sam Stevens. Davis's no vibes pick, dead last.
Wait, I thought. What do you? I feel like that's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a non-vibes based Davis.
Yeah, no, it's no vibes lockdown. It's like a guarantee. No vibes involved. Vibes is like I'm feeling Tiger this week. I'm just feeling.
But no vibes to me means that he's looking at data and numbers to inform this situation.
Yeah. Well, he tried to make his pick a vibes pick, and I wouldn't allow it. I denied his first pick because it was clearly based on vibes. And we are going no vibes, guaranteed only. I forced Dan and him to pick somebody for fun at the end of the show. His was dead last. Mine was first.
Pick someone for fun, but no vibes informing that.
No
fun.
vibes.
That's to be serious fun.
Lockdown.
I am going to go do ship chasing here with the aforementioned Davis Maddock and Pat Carrain. I think we're drafting today, if that is your thing. I think someone was in the chat earlier at the beginning of the show saying, is he drafting on this show? The answer is no, but I will be drafting on the ship chasing channel in about 20 minutes. Brian and I will be back next week at Thursday. On Thursday, if you guys ever have any topics you guys would like us to discuss, maybe post them in the Lulz channel in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. Otherwise, we will see you guys next time. Peace out.